guys, it's Megan from Create Your Future. I'm a coach here, and today I have a special guest, Carol. She is here from Create Your Future. She's a coach, and she has some amazing success stories. And so you should definitely check this out. It's going to be very beneficial. We have 3 different success stories for SPs, and at the end, we're going to talk about her own manifestation. So with this, we have a manifestation of a client who got a visit from her SP. She was able to manifest a visit with him actually bringing over something that she intentionally wanted him to bring over, and he pursued it, thought it was his idea. Another SP got movement, they had a misunderstanding, got over the misunderstanding, and he actually was able to open and express his feelings, and she even manifested a "I love you," woohoo! And then the last one had no communication for 9 months, and then she manifested communication. So these are all amazing success stories. And again, Carol's also going to tell you how she manifested her clients doing this as well, because everybody is pushed out. So go ahead, Carol.
Hi, Megan. I'm super excited. Thank you. Okay, so these success stories, I think that the reason why they are so peculiar is because of the details in each and every one of them. And then the fact that they all showed up for me the same day, like the very same day I had these 3 clients, one after the other, giving me this feedback, which was amazing. It actually made my day. But when you look at all of these, it's like they all had that one thing in peculiar that tells you, okay, I did this because of this intention. It was so specific that I know that it was me. And so the first one that you discussed was how, you know, she managed to get her SP to come over. They had been talking. She actually manifested him to give her attention. They were not talking so much. She brought him in. The pursuing and the texting were working in steps, but he wouldn't come over. You know, she would get the attention with phone and the text and talking on the phone, but he would not come over, and she would ask him, and always an excuse, or he couldn't, or work. So last time we talked, well, the time before that one, I was like, okay, stop asking. Like, you're not going to ask anymore. You're just going to work on your mental diet. You're going to see this as it's already done. He wants this more than you do. You need to put yourself up there. You need to focus on the experience that you want to have and know that it's already done, you know, from your God state. And it's going to be his idea. So he's the one that's going to be all over the place asking you to see you. So she completely stopped asking. And about 3 weeks in, they're still texting because the movement is going, the texting is still going on. And out of the blue, he said to her, I want to see you right now. Can I come over? And of course, you know, she was super excited because it finally happened. And she's like, yeah, sure. Why not? Come over. Now, one of the things that she had scripted was to have a wine night with him. It was part of the whole ideal story. She scripted for that whole night, and she just kept imagining that night. So she said, yeah, sure, come over. Why not? We can just talk, chill, relax a little bit. And when she opened the door, he actually brought in a bottle of wine.
Oh my gosh, that's so amazing. I love it.
I know. So it was exactly like she wanted it to be. I mean, it was very light, very organic. They just talked. They watched TV. They played with the dogs. And it was so nice and sweet. And, you know, he had the most amazing time. Next day, he was like, I had an amazing time. I haven't been able to stop thinking about you. I want to see you again. So she got the ball rolling with that. And of course, the peculiar thing is the fact that he brought in the bottle of wine and everything played out exactly like she had intended. So it's proof how powerful you are, how things manifest, and it could be that specific.
Yeah, I love that. I love that you put the specific thing there for the wine, because it does help people prove their power. They have it. It's not just coincidental. Sometimes it feels so natural or unfold. Actually, something like that. So this is, you know, I can put the wine in there. So I think it's really sort of put something specific, you know, or manifest them saying something or bringing something. Something else I wanted to talk about too was about, you know, her. You said to stop asking. Right, to stop asking. And I want to talk about that. That's kind of important because what I'm hearing is that she wanted to be pursued, right? And every time, and not that you guys can't ask, but sometimes what I notice with clients is sometimes when you are asking, what happens then you start reacting if they say no. And then you
Yes.
start like, you're stuck in that cycle of rejection instead of living from the end of that person wanting to be with you. And also the end, her end sounds like she wanted to be pursued by him. So by stop asking him things, she was stop pursuing. She was able to only focus on the version of him that was pursuing. She was not reacting, and also the version of herself of someone that was being pursued. So I love that. I think that's really important.
Yes, exactly. And you're talking about being pursued. It's all like it's just how energy works, right? In order for somebody to be pursued, the only person has to be stepping back. You can't, it's just how it works. So she stepped back and allowed him to do the work, allowed him to come in. So this was very, very special. And the next one is also very special. This one, they have been dating, kind of getting to know each other for 6 months, and they had a misunderstanding. It was a silly misunderstanding, but somehow she created that he was still mad about it, and he was cold. And so we worked on the misunderstanding. We worked on him being forgiving and loving, and it already happened. It's done. So let's kind of recreate the relationship, pick it back up, because you're getting to know each other. You're in the early stages of dating. So little by little, he started coming in. Conversations started to get easy, lightweight. He didn't even bring it up. He didn't even talk about it anymore. And she started seeing how everything was kind of, evolving. But he would not open up about his feelings. So we started working on intentions about his feelings. Like, I just want him to open up. I want him to tell me that, how he feels about me. I want him to tell me that he loves me, and I want him to, make me a priority. I want him to give me attention. I want all these things. So I always say any affirmation that comes from your desires is a perfect affirmation. So we worked on, what do you want to experience? So she created a list of affirmations, focus on the version of him that's already giving this, forgot the old story, focus on the new story. And then they were going out, they were walking towards the restaurant where they were going to have their date. And that night, as she was getting dressed, he opens up today. Today he tells me how he feels about me. And she felt like this magical moment inside where she's like, I look amazing. I feel amazing. I am the prize. I am on top of the world. And the moment he came in, he saw her and he was like, you're so beautiful, and butterflies everywhere. So as they were walking towards the restaurant, he just pulled her back and he said, you know what? I just love you. Out of the blue. 6 months later, he had never said it before. They had never spoken about feelings. Wow. He just said it. So that's another example of how specific you can be and how things can just turn around like this. He just opened up and said, I just love you. You make me feel so amazing, and I love you and everything about you.
Yeah, and that's so important, because the point is looking at that's so amazing, and you're right. I think you nailed it, because you're looking at, like, what happens is sometimes the old way of thinking before we learn about we have to understand if he is not open and he's closed off, and why is he doing this to me? You're keeping that story alive over and over again. So I love that the client was able to take her intentions and change it. And I love also, before we get into that, I love that you said about the intentions. Sometimes people get so worried about how they say it, how they have to say it. Should they say it this way or that way? And no, because guess what? We're naturally manifesting 100% of the time. And I'm not just thinking negatively. Should I say I intend something bad happens to me, or should I say it this way? No. So if we're obviously always naturally doing it. So I love that you said that, making the client feel like, put it in your own words and do it what feels good for you. I really think that's important.
Yes, and that's actually it's my way of going about it throughout the day, because I do have my affirmations for whatever it is that I want to manifest, but I don't have them with me at all times. So it's just like in my mind, in that moment, what do I want to feel? What do I want to see instead? And it's like anything that I desire, whatever it is that I desire in that moment, it's already the perfect affirmation, because you're already doing it naturally, regardless with everything else. And it was very special because she hadn't heard those words in a very long time. So it was very meaningful. Not only the fact that she heard the words, but the fact that she knows that she manifested it. So it was like empowering, and at the same time a very amazing experience, because she hadn't heard this words in a long time from NSB, because of her past experiences. So this was beautiful, and we both cried a little.
Well, I would too, but I just love it. And I also like how you gave her to say on the news story, instead of looking back at the old story, the new version, and give us her, and she's someone who is able to receive that as well. I love that.
Yes. And a lot of the times every time that we go back, and I have this visual, every time that we go back to the old story, it's as if you were like hammering them in that position. Like you keep doing that, and you keep hammering them in there, holding them in place. And eventually it's just going to get harder to pull them out of there. So it's like, stop putting them in that place. Stop doing that. Like, focus on the version of them that you want to experience. Focus on making them a better version of themselves. You're doing the work for you and for them. So that was awesome.
I love that analogy. It always goes to show you see the best in somebody, because it always comes back to you anyway, because if you're going to self-torture if you think something bad about somebody. And I also like what you said is it didn't take very long either. Once you started going on this, saying the intentions and sticking to it, shows you it doesn't have to take forever for this to happen either.
No, not at all. And and it's all about seeing that person as somebody that wants this as well. He wants it too. He wants it. Who doesn't want to be loved? Who doesn't want love? Who doesn't want to feel love? And she started seeing him that way. Of course he wants to feel this. This feels amazing. The same way you want to feel, he wants to feel it too. Why not? So
love that. Absolutely.
Yes. Okay. And then the third client was she manifested a communication with SB. They hadn't spoken in 9 months. She actually relocated, same city. She relocated, and she actually found out through social media that she lived I want to say like a block or 2 blocks away. And so we assigned meetings to that. That it's coming. That means that he's close. I mean, that means that your manifestation, it's working. It's on its way. Continue moving forward. We're going to continue moving forward. He continued. So the peculiar thing about this story is we use that feedback. Like I always say, use the feedback and make it work for you. So we use that feedback to create a story out of it. So she started affirming that he finds out that she is close by, or that she's in town, or that she lives closer to him. And so he contacts her because he finds out. They have a lot of friends in common. So it was like, okay. So mind you, he was the one that broke it off. He didn't want anything to do with the relationship. Anyhow, she starts affirming. He finds out that I'm here and he wants to see me. He's curious to see how I'm doing. He wants to talk to me. He hasn't been able to stop thinking about me since he found out that I live close to him. And we just started working on that. Lo and behold, a few weeks in, she's working. Her phone is in her purse. And when she's about to leave work, she pulls out her phone. The text read, "I found out that you live close to me. How are you doing? I want to see you. Or do you want to catch up sometime?" So
wow.
I know. They started talking. Conversation was flowing perfectly. They've been talking since, here and there, every day. But then it just keeps evolving. And again, this is another one of those stories where it was so specific. Whatever she said, it was so specific. He found out that she lived close, and that was the reason why he contacted her. So if you're trying to create a reason why something is not happening, why you're not getting what you want, let's create reasons why you're getting what you want. You create your own reasons. You make up the rules, and you use the feedback. You use the 3D to make it work for you, mold it in your favor. And that's exactly what she did. And so, yes.
I love it. And I love that you had all 3 of them to figure out their, to feel empowered, something specific to let them know they're doing it. And it's just not that off. I also love what you said about trying to we are making mistakes. We're always going to make it mean something. And we usually in the past have a tendency to make it mean something bad. So why not make it mean something good and work to your advantage that is unfolding perfectly to how you want it to go, instead of making it mean something bad, because that's just going to show you proof, and it's going to get you to where you want a lot faster than dwelling on something negative.
Exactly. agree 100%. And like you mentioned earlier, was how it's not just their manifestation. To me, it was my manifestation. Because yesterday I was having one of those all over the place days where I had so many things going on, and then I sat down in the afternoon. It's like, okay, I'm going to see my clients now. And I just wrote down, like in my little notebook where I do my clients' notes, I intend that all my clients see movement. I intend to, and I wrote like 2 intentions for my clients. Since that's what I wanted to experience today, I decided that is exactly what I wanted to experience. So when the first client showed up, I'm like, yes, this is awesome. Perfect, check. But I didn't think that the other 2 were also going to give me that. So it's like, oh my gosh. So it was, for me, it was amazing that I actually manifested this experience for myself. So, and it was that specific too, where all my clients saw progress. They saw movement. Something happened that turned everything around. And the fact that I had intended it probably like 15 minutes prior to start working, I think it's just magical. It's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. And that shows you how everybody's you pushed out, so things can change very quickly. Things are very malleable. And, and we're as coaches make intentions all the time. And it just shows you, because we're always doing this. It's a practice. It's not just you say one thing and it happens. Like every area of your life you can make these intentions for. And, and it's really fun to watch it unfold. And especially like you said before, specific about it and wanting it and writing it down. And, I kind of like writing things down too, because it reminds me, I sometimes see that that's just thoughts, but writing it down reminds me that I actually thought it, I actually said it, and I can check it off.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I do. I write things down just so I probably write them down once, but I write them down so I can just remember. And the good thing and the magical thing about this is, like, I usually write down whatever it is that I want to manifest. Sometimes I write 5, 6 affirmations. I hardly ever look at them again, but when I do, I surprise myself every time. It's like, oh, I manifested this is amazing.
Right, it's just a proof, because guys, when this happens, it feels so natural. You're like, would that just happen anyway? And like, no, I actually wrote these down. It does happen. It shows you your power. So
yes.
Well, those are amazing stories. I'm so glad that you shared those with us. And guys, Carol's the coach here. She's below there, so check her out. I'm sure if you have any specific intentions and helping you over your blocks and anything that's going to be your manifestation, yeah, Carol's here for you guys. So thank you guys so much. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. Have a good day.